Over the last several years, I have probably walked into thousands of new construction homes, and I have sold hundreds of them over the last couple of years. And so these are some of the things that I have learned that I feel like might be the most important for you to understand if you're looking at a brand new construction home, whether it's inventory or it's building from the ground up. We haven't met before. My name is Zach. My team and I, we sell new construction real estate, and that's all we do here in DFW. So builder inventory, building from the ground up here in Dallas, moving to Dallas like so many of you are. This is kind of our specialty. And so my first one that I would say is we're always going to want to get the third party inspection. So there's going to come a point when you've got the home under contract, we're getting close to closing, and the builder is going to set up, the words are interchangeable, blue tape walk, orientation, warranty walkthrough, whatever. It all means the same thing. It's basically the moment when they present you your house and say, here you go. We are either almost at a finished product or this is what we believe is a finished product. And you're going to walk through it, learn how everything works, make sure everything's good to go. Before we do that, you always want to get a third-party inspection. Especially, I can't speak to every state, but here in Texas, we want to make sure we get eyes on that inspection. If you need inspector recommendations, they're down in the description of this video. There's two teams that we work with exclusively. We do a lot with here in DFW. Both of them are great. But please always get the third-party inspection. And on that note, I'm saying please do that, but I also want to say it with a little bit of, hey, yes, and, right? So I want you to get the third-party inspection, but I also want you to know that what is written on that third-party inspection is not the Bible, is not absolute. There are going to be things that an inspector might say or an inspector might call out that a builder may or may not address or may not fix. An inspector is kind of one of those people that is what I would call a generalist, right? Like they have a working knowledge of all of these different things. And oftentimes you'll see it in their reports. They'll say, hey, this might be a thing, contact a certified professional in this area. They're looking at the straight building code and it's like, black or white, right? Like there are times when we've had people on an inspection report, like the inspector will say, it appears that the gas is not working in the home. And it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a major deal. Well, then come to find out, like the inspector, it's not their job to turn on the gas to the house. And so the builder comes back through and the plumber comes out and it's like, no, everything's good. We just had it turned off at the source. And it's like, they recheck it and everything's fine, right? Should the builder have been responsible to making sure that was ready? Yes. Do mistakes happen? Yes. So we want to get the inspection done, but I also need you to be cautious in how much you weigh it out, right? It's a new home. It's not a perfect home. And so there are always going to be things that need to be addressed. But also too, builders are responsible to build to the local municipality code. So let me give you a perfect example of something that might turn out in this. So in this area, one of the areas we sell a lot of homes in is a city called Salina. Oftentimes, people will decide in their kitchen over the island that, hey, we want wiring for a pendant light, but we don't, we're not getting the ones from the builder because we don't like those are ugly. We're just going to put the wiring and then they're going to put a cap, like a plastic cap over it's just going to sit like, it's going to sit like that, right? And then you've got the wiring there. Well, the city of Salina says, hey, you can't do that. We don't like the caps. So instead of capping it, they actually have to put the little LED disc light. And it looks so stupid. And it's like, why are they doing that? Because the city requires it. So that's what the builders do. So on this inspection note, some builders are easier to work with and navigate inspections with than others. Some of the builders that we like to sell with, so Highland, for example, every time I sell a Highland, anytime we get a third-party report and we give it to the builder, I've never had to have a fight or a conversation with that builder about things getting fixed. So, hey, it's on the report. We're going to get them out here to look at it. Or even if they don't fix it, they will give us an articulated answer, right? That's what we're looking for, is I want them to address all of your concerns and I want them to make sure that your house is functional and safe in the way that it's supposed to be. But at the same time, like if for some reason something doesn't get fixed, and this is how you can tell the quality of a builder is based on the way their construction superintendent handles that interaction. If they are like, hey, you know what, we can't fix it and here's why, like that feels a whole lot better than them just being like, yeah, whatever, like take it or leave it. So understand the dynamics of that. So please get the inspection, but also please be kind of reserved in the amount of weight that you put in. And I'm happy to talk you through those. And because there's like, for example, concrete in North Texas is a big one, especially, we'll get it in the, like on the patios or the driveway where it's like, you'll start to see the little bitty like cracks on and this is not like the crack that's doing like this. This is like the surface level visual cracks like that. In North Texas, our soil like concrete's going to crack. It's water. It's going to happen. So there's not a lot on stuff like that can be done. So, and also just, you'll know the quality of your builder and the quality of people they hire based on how they respond to those inspection reports. That's the first one I think you need to know. So number two, I want you to know you can negotiate. Like, there are things that we can ask for that we can get from the builder. We can negotiate with realistic expectations, right? That's probably the most important secondary piece that so many people leave off. It's like, oh yeah, we can negotiate with a builder. Yeah, we can, with realistic expectations of what we are going to get. And this is where having somebody that spends a lot of time in this space is super beneficial, because I know what I can ask for that will get me a yes. I know what I can ask for that they're going to be like, that's not going to happen, but we'll do this, right? I wish I could give you one singular blanket, like, hey, if you do this, they're always going to do this. And that's not, it doesn't translate like that. It's like, if you do this, they might do this, or if you do this, they might do this. But like, it varies so much builder to builder. It varies community to community. It varies seasonality, right? Like if they're having a slow week or they're doing one promotion, we might be able to do this, but you can negotiate. And the way I see it is, the worst they can tell me is no, right? Like, I'm happy to make an ask within reason. And that's where we would kind of have that conversation about, hey, here's where we're at. Here's what I think we can ask for. Are you good with making this ask? And if they say yes, great, we won. If they say no, okay, we got our, like, either way, just because you don't like the answer doesn't mean that you didn't get an answer. So if you have an agent that, is not doing, like, I want to be firm but fair. That's kind of the way I want to see it. Is like, hey, we're going to be firm but fair, and we know what we're going to ask for. We're going to be realistic, and I want to set that table for you to have the right expectations. And you can say to them, like, the phrase I like to tell our people is like, hey, we will sign today if, and then you fill in the if statement. Like, but you have to mean that, right? Like, and because at the end of the day, it's not necessarily, some neighborhoods, the sales rep has a lot of authority and power to say yes to a deal. Other neighborhoods and other builders, the sales rep doesn't have any authority or power to say yes to a deal, and they've got to present it to management. And so, like, when you start throwing around phrases, hey, we will commit today if, and it's a fill in the blank expectation of, hey, yeah, if we can get the blinds thrown in, or hey, if we can get an extra $5,000 toward closing costs, or whatever, that puts you in a leverage point that is advantageous to you. So yes, you can negotiate with a builder. You just have to know the right ways to do that. I've got videos all over our channel on how to teach how to do that. I can talk you through it in a Zoom call, like if we're working together. But like, I don't want to give everything away for free. I give a lot away for free, but that's what we're here to help with. So there is room to do that. So on the same note, regardless of how good or bad the sales rep is at their job, at the end of the day, they are still a person in sales. At the end of the day, their job is still to sell that home. At the end of the day, they are there to present that product to you, the buyer, to give you the warm and fuzzies, to give you all the things that make you feel good, to get you to buy that home. Their job is to get you to pick the product. Some of them do a really good job of that. Some of them not so much. They don't do a good job of that. Some of them are selling a product that they wouldn't put their own family in. Some of them are selling a product that they really do believe in, and they've bought 10 homes from their builder and they absolutely love it. And you'll know. Trust me, you'll know. So as nice and as sweet and as genuine as they are they friendly? Absolutely. Are there some phenomenal people that are sales reps? Yeah, some of my best friends are sales reps for builders, and we do a lot of business together. But at the end of the day, like, their job is to represent the builder. They're not there to represent you. They have been trained. Listen, these builders sell hundreds and thousands of homes a year, and the margins they make on them are really good. Some of them upwards of 25 or 30%. So you do the math on that at a $400,000 house if a builder's making 20%. Do you not think that their companies spend money to train them to handle every objection that you have, to collect your story and find out the why and connect with you on an emotional level? They're trained to do that. I've sat in the trainings. I've gone, I've listened to the coaches. They're trained to do it. They're salespeople. And that's fine if we know that. Like if you know that and you go in with that understanding, that expectation, and you understand you want them to like you, like you don't want to go in and be a jerk, because like I told you in the point before this, they've got to go to management probably and get approval on some of the deals that we're trying to do. You want them in your corner. You want them advocating for you. Yeah, we can build a relationship with them. We can have a connection, but also their job is to sell the house. That's what they're paid to be there to do. Also, with their job, they're not in control of their incentives. They're not in control of their standard features. What often happens is they get an email that says, hey team, here's our new incentive package, go sell the house. So like when they start telling you, hey, this incentive might be going away this week, like in some cases, yes, they're trying to bait the hook to get you to buy. In other cases, they're not lying to you. They're just being told, hey, we've got this until it runs out. We think it's going to run out this week. We don't know what's coming back. They get handed the product and say, hey, here you go. Sell me the pen. You've seen that video. Sell me the pen, right? Here, sell me the pen.
Sell me this pen.
And sometimes standard features and incentives, they change like the gas prices. And this is probably the best representation I know of something like this. Is like you've gotten up in the morning and you're like, you're driving by the store and like I drive by Kroger and I'm like, oh, like gas. I'm like, I'm good. Like I'm good. I can wait till the end of the day. And sometimes gas at the end of the day is more expensive. I'm like, dang it, should have got gas this morning. Or like the Kroger is like one price, but then the Shell across the street is like 20 cents more. And it's like, so incentives and standard features are always fluctuating back and forth based on what the builders are doing in the market and based on what's going on in that neighborhood and based on how many homes they've sold in the north part of DFW and what their quota is for the quarter and what their goals are and how much it's costing them to buy interest rates. That's a big one. Hey, this money, this might cost us $10 million to do this today. And then 60 days later, the same block of rates that we're getting is going to cost us $12 million. So is it worth doing that? Or we have to spend all of this or we lose it. So they change based on what's going on with that specific builder in that specific market. So yes, there is a little bit of a time is of the essence sort of scenario. I've struggled with this one a little bit because at the end of the day, I want what's best for you guys. And and I'll tell you straight up, my job is sales too. My job is to sell homes just like the person that works for Highland or Perry or Bloomfield, their job is to sell homes. My job is to represent you. And so the question comes up is like, where's the value in this, right? Like what did I overpay or was this home overpriced or is the market going to crash or why are we seeing prices drop? And it's like, I will be honest with you and I will tell you, I struggle with this one a little bit because value is set by what somebody is willing to pay for it. But more importantly, in this case, when you're looking at an asset, and that's what you kind of have to look at your house as is an asset, is when the bank is lending on the asset, which is what the bank is doing. They are looking at this as an asset that they are lending on. They come in and they send out an appraiser, and the appraiser sets the value. Now, the appraiser is a third party. They don't work for the bank. It gets picked up independently, or it's supposed to be. So if the bank is willing to pay something for it, then the value is there in the market. And if it makes sense for your timeline and you get the deal that makes sense for you and your family, and you get a warm and fuzzy about a house and you're like, I could see my kids growing up here and this is so close to the Orange Theory studio that I want to go to and this is 20 minutes from my job, and you feel good about it and you get a payment that makes sense and it appraises, that's the value. The value is there in that scenario. So, and that's a hard thing for me because, like, again, we look at this piece and it's like, as you push toward the end of a year and you're like, builders are like, man, they're cutting prices left and right. And they're trying to move homes because they have the margin on those, like they're making plenty of money and they're also calculating in the cost of the marketing cost, the holding cost, the taxes, the insurance, the rate buy downs, all of those things are baked in. And so what I'm telling you is, I don't believe we're in a crashing market. I believe there's probably some places where we're seeing micro corrections, but value is set based on what you believe. Value is also set based on what the bank says it's worth. And we have in this year, in all of the transactions we've done this year, we have not had a single property not make appraisal. Some of them that meet it exactly where the contract price is, a whole other conversation. We've had some that have been over, like where, the appraisal value is well over what we're under contract for. But we have not had anything that's not appraised. And I even know that appraisals have gotten tighter because the banks want to make sure they get that right, because the bank doesn't care about you. They care about the asset, and they're lending to the asset. No matter how good or bad your story or whatever is, they're lending to the asset. So I got 3 more. As we're getting into those 3 more, I also need to tell you, we have a resource for you. You're like, I don't even know how to start looking at homes. You scan the QR code that's right here. That will take you, it's not anything resale. Like there's no fixer uppers on there. There's no skeletons in closets. That's all new construction homes. You can browse by floor plan. You can browse by builder, community, whatever. I built it for you guys. And I promise if you're looking there, I'm not going to blow your email up, spam you 1,000 times. I promise. But it's there for you as a resource. If you're trying to figure out, hey, I'm trying to get to Dallas and what might make sense. Or if you're here in Dallas and you're trying to see what can you potentially afford. All right. This one I think is important. I can always tell with certain builders The difference between, and this is a really good pro tip, the difference between a home that was an inventory home from the start and a home that busted in the middle of the process. And so when I say busted, what I mean is somebody, Jack and Susie showed up and they were going to buy the house, and they went through, they picked all the design, they picked the selections, they picked the lot, they picked the brick. And then at some point, for some reason, Jack and Susie could no longer buy that house. Whether they didn't qualify, whether they found a different house, whether their job changed, it doesn't matter. That is a bust. It is a busted contract that the builder got back. And now they have to try and sell that home. And it could have busted when they started hanging cabinets. It could have busted a week before closing. It doesn't matter. But I've walked enough homes to know, and with certain builders, you can tell which homes are inventory homes and which homes are busted homes. Not like busted like bad, like that they got back. I had to find another word for that, because it ain't a busted home. They got it back. You can tell the difference. And what I mean by that is, so this is more of your builders that don't do straight line production. So this is not, you're never going to be able to tell this on like a Meritage, a Trophy, a DR, a Lennar, homes like that you're, think of the builders that have the like design centers, right? That you have things that you can pick, the Highlands, the Perrys, the Pacesetters, the Bloomfields, the David Weekleys, the Chesmars, those type of builders, because what they have is every sales rep has a very specific style and palette and taste that they work with their design centers when they build inventory homes. So there are some homes that are built as just straight like, hey, we're building this with the intent that we don't have a buyer yet. It's an inventory home, and somebody's going to come in at some point during the transaction and become the buyer. You can tell like those are very like, they will put nice features in those, but they don't go crazy on the upgrades, right? Like it's going to be very neutral tones. It's going to be very muted floors. It might have the fireplace. It might have the patio on it. Those are very tastefully done homes. But when you walk into a home that like, hey, this one's available, and you see like what would appear like the easiest giveaway for me is the backsplash in the kitchen. If the backsplash in the kitchen is like a color or something that looks kind of unique that you wouldn't normally pick, that was a home that they got back that they weren't expecting to get back. Now, what does that mean? It means two things. One, that means that home is probably going to have a little bit more in upgrades than what a standard inventory home would have in it. Okay, that's a perfect example. You see my pins. They're the exact same pin, right? This one I broke the little clip off of. This one I haven't broke the clip off of. If you're looking at these two homes, if this is the inventory home, the broken clip one, and the non-broken clip one is the get back home, this one probably has more features in it. This one probably has more upgrades in it. And this one's probably priced a little higher than this one is. You're probably going to get more upgrades because they were selected by an individual. This one is probably priced, the get back home is probably priced higher. This one probably also has more margin on it to negotiate. So if you find a home that you really like and you can kind of tell, sometimes the sales rep will tell you, sometimes they'll try their best not to let that information slip. But if they do, and it's one they weren't expecting to get back because now they have holding costs on, you might have a little bit more room to negotiate on it. And I've walked enough of these homes that I can tell. Like I said, there's some builders like they just do straight production and you will never know it because it's all the same. Like they have packages and nobody selects anything. Others, you can tell. And when you can tell, sometimes that will be a advantageous thing for you, which leads me into what builders will call a loss leader. So I need you to kind of understand that you'll see this when you look at a builder's website and you're looking at pricing, they won't list the price. It'll say call. And it's like, well, why do you want us to call? And it's like, because they want to get the traffic. Or it's one that's like, hey, this other house is, 450 and this same house in that neighborhood is already listed at 420. And it's like, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people in the door. It's a loss leader, right? Like it's the cheapest home. It's like so here in Texas, the bugs are freaking big. And so it's like the thing that you hang on the porch, like in the Bugs Life movie that attracts the mosquitoes is like, zzz, that one, like it's designed to bring in traffic. And oftentimes when you get there, you might like that specific home, but you might find out that it's on a bad lot, or you might find out that it's got a terrible color package, or it's got an ugly brick, or you might find out that there's only one singular of those homes. And then you've got to decide, do you like it? Do you not like it? And if you like the one that's similar to it, it might be $20,000 more. And is it worth that? So and the importance of that is understanding if it's a loss leader, there's probably not going to be a ton more room to negotiate on. There's going to be a little bit, but not much. but they're using it to drive traffic. Or the other thing that you'll see that you have to be really, really careful of, if you see, like if you're on the Zillows and the realtors and you're looking and you see like a floor plan and it's like, oh, this floor plan, but there's no address attached to it, what that probably is it's probably not that house, right? So like if you look and you're like, oh, I found this one house for, it's $400,000. And then you go look and you're like looking around and you're like, where? And you go out to that neighborhood and you're like, I can't even find the house. And you go to the website and you're like, I can't find it. And then you go in and talk to them like, oh, well, that's just the base price. Like you could build this plan and like it would start at 400, but you got to select the lot. You got to do all these colors. And then all of a sudden, you're like, poof, 450, right? Be careful. Just look at it and just know, like sometimes they'll do that. It's all marketing. They're all just trying to get you into a house. Last one, you've stuck around this long, is just, this one is simply like the builder math POV, right? Or just builder POV in general. The math on this is kind of goes back to the value thing, kind of goes back to the pricing thing. They're factoring in the cost of doing these rates, right? They're factoring in, hey, this is what it's costing us to hold this home. This is what it was labor, material. This is what we paid to the developer. And a lot of these developers are getting the builders by the you-know-whats. And that's part of why we're seeing pricing go up, is because these builders are having to come to the developers and buy the land. And then it's like, well, we had to go up, so we have to take out standard features to kind of stay competitive with our pricing. All of those things get factored into that. Money gets spent on marketing, money gets spent on advertising, money gets spent on the rate promos. They're pre-buying a lot of those things. So it's like they spend the money so that they can turn around and get the money back to give you those rates. As rates drop, will they continue to do that? I don't know. I hope they do. My hope is builders double down and we get rates even lower. That is what, so all of my builder people that y'all watch my content, double down. Buy lower rates. All of that's factored in. The incentives you see are going to be tied to their in-house lending. So the math is all in there. And so what they have to do is they want to give you a good deal, but they also want to give Lindsay a good deal. And they also want to give Caitlin a good deal. And they want to give Micah a good deal. And they want to give Kenna a good deal. And they want to give all of these people good deals, but they have to remember, oh yeah, we've got 20 contracts on our backlog and they signed for this, and we've got to protect what we're trying to sell in the next quarter of the neighborhood. So they've got to figure all of those things out on the chessboard, and they got to do things that make sense. And so when you understand that, it's like, okay, get the value of what they're spending for that rate, or you can do the math on how much is this rate buy down actually worth? And we've done that on our channel. You can go look at those. Hey, can we get the washer, dryer, fridge, appliances, blinds thrown in? Well, here's what it would cost, and here's how, like that makes more of a win to you than it does, moving the price. Here's the secret one, and I'll leave you with this because we just did this recently with a client. We're talking about the appraisal. Here's a potential win-win scenario. If you're under contract for, let's call it, let's say you're under contract for $450,000. You get the appraisal back and it appraises for $460,000. We have had clients where we go back to the builder and say, hey, we want to give you a win-win. We're going to let you sell us this house for more money in exchange to back that number of closing costs out, assuming we have seller contributions left based on our lending guidelines. And there are lending guidelines that dictate how much we can do in interested party contributions. If we have the margin to do it, hey, can we raise our sales price by $5,000 to get an additional $5,000 so that we're coming to the table with less cash to close? There's ways to work that, and you can see what that does to your payment. And if you've watched any of my other content, one of my big proponents is, hey, let's control the asset for as little of our money out of pocket as possible and take as much of theirs as we can, and we can navigate that. So just know that's part of the builder math POV, because then they get you get a win in less cash to close. They get a win in a recorded sale at a certain price, which means, the appraised value helps everything else they're doing, and it's a win-win. We call it that. These are the things that I think that everybody should know if you're buying a new construction home. It was a lot, and this was a long video, and I'm sorry for that, but I just needed to give you the information that you needed. And if you have questions, please reach out and set up a time to, phone call, email, Zoom, whatever. If I can help and our team can help, we would love to, and honestly, we would be honored to be helpful for you. If you have questions, please leave them down in the comments. If you found, and of course, I should have said this earlier because nobody's watching at this point, but if you're still watching, like on the video, it goes a long way. Subscribe. We would love to keep helping you grow and learn about new construction here in DFW. So, adios.